General Hospital spoilers, Gregory's tragic demise and the cancelled wedding of Brook and Chase highlights. Greetings, loyal fans of General Hospital. Today, we find ourselves amidst a storm of sorrow and heartache as Port Charles mourns the tragic loss of one of its own. In this episode of GH Insider, we delve deep into the devastating events that have unfolded, including the untimely demise of Gregory and the heartbreaking cancellation of Brook and Chase's wedding. But heed this warning, spoilers ahead. If you are not prepared to face the emotional turmoil that lies ahead, proceed with caution. Now, let's dive into the grief-stricken streets of Port Charles with A Day of Grief in Port Charles, unraveling the tragic loss of Gregory and the cancellation of Brook and Chase's wedding. Our tale begins on what should have been a day of celebration and joy in Port Charles, as Brook and Chase eagerly anticipated their wedding day. However, tragedy strikes when news spreads of Gregory's sudden and unexpected demise. The once joyous occasion is now overshadowed by grief and sorrow, as the residents of Port Charles come to terms with the loss of a beloved member of their community. As the news of Gregory's passing reverberates throughout Port Charles, Brook and Chase are faced with an impossible decision: whether to proceed with their wedding despite the overwhelming grief that hangs in the air. In a heartbreaking turn of events, they ultimately decide to cancel the ceremony, unable to celebrate amidst the pain of loss. The once festive occasion is transformed into a somber affair as friends and family come together to mourn the loss of a loved one. In the wake of Gregory's death and the cancellation of Brook and Chase's wedding, Port Charles finds itself united in grief. The streets once filled with anticipation and excitement are now filled with tears and solemn faces as the community comes together to mourn their collective loss. From heartfelt tributes to shared memories, the residents of Port Charles find solace in each other's company as they navigate through this dark and difficult time. As the days pass and the initial shock begins to fade, the residents of Port Charles must find a way to cope with their grief and move forward. For Brook and Chase, the road ahead is filled with uncertainty as they come to terms with the cancellation of their wedding and the loss of Gregory. But amidst the pain, there is also the promise of healing and hope as they lean on each other for support and strength. In the end, while the pain of Gregory's loss may never fully fade, his memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved him. As the residents of Port Charles come together to honor his life and legacy, they find comfort in the knowledge that he will always be remembered fondly and cherished deeply. And though they may mourn his passing, they also celebrate the impact he had on their lives and the love he shared with those around him. And there you have it, our heartfelt episode of A Day of Grief in Port Charles, unraveling the tragic loss of Gregory and the cancellation of Brook and Chase's wedding. What did you think of the emotional turmoil? Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. If you